Okay guys, welcome to Cruise class. In this video we'll be looking at how to factorize quadratic expressions. Now what is a quadratic expression? A quadratic expression is an expression, algebraic expression, that has the highest power of the unknown variable being 2. So as you can see here, we're using x as the variable. Now the highest power that we see is 2. So that determines whether it's a quadratic expression or not. Now the coefficient for the x squared term is usually represented by a, the coefficient of the x term is usually represented by b, and the constant at the end is usually represented by c. Now what we're going to do is learn the steps to factorize a full quadratic expression. Let's move this down a bit. Now as we can see here, the first thing we're going to need to do is find a times c. Whatever value a times c gives us, we're going to then find two factors that multiply to give us a times c. However, those same two factors must add to give us b. So when we find a times c, we need to also find two factors that will give us back a times c. However, those same two factors will add together to give us the value for b. Now we're going to look at our first example. Let's get some space. The first example is x squared, 1x squared that is, plus 5x plus 6. Now a in this case would be 1 and c would be 6. So we're going to say a times c would be 1 times 6, which will give us 6. Now, what are the two factors that if we were to multiply them, we will get back 6, which is AC, but those same two factors, if we were to add them, we would get the value of B, which is 5. So once more, we're trying to find two numbers that if we multiply them, we get 6, but if we add them, we get 5. Obviously, those two numbers will be positive 3 and positive 2. How do we know this? 3 times 2 is 6. However, 3 plus 2 is 5. Good. So now we're going to rewrite the b term, which would be 5x, in terms of the two factors. So instead of writing 5x, we're going to split it up and say 3x plus 2x. So instead of writing 5x, it's going to be 3x plus 2x. And this is what we have when we rewrite it. So x squared is equal to 3x plus 2x plus 6. Now, what we're going to do is break these two sides into two different brackets. And what do we have here? X squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 6. Same thing here, we just added brackets. Now we're going to factor out each term. Okay. Now, looking here, as we can see, if we were to factor out, the common term in this would be x. So if we factor out x out of x squared, we're left with x. If we factor out x out of 3x, we're left with 3. So as you can see, when the x is outside of the bracket, we're left with x open bracket x plus 3. Now over here, the common term for these two would be 2. So if we factor out 2x out of, or rather, if we factor out 2 out of 2x, we're left with x. And if we factor out 2 out of 6, we're left with 3. So as you can see, we're now left with 2 open bracket x plus 3. So it's not finished until we see one bracket multiplied by another bracket. And because we see the plus here, we know it's not finished factorizing. So what we're going to do, we're going to look for common terms again. So on this entire left side here, we see that we have x plus 3. On this side, we see that we have another x plus 3. So the common term here is x plus 3, and the common term here is also x plus 3. So what we're going to do is factor out x plus 3 out of this, and we're going to be left with x. Plus, we factor out x plus 3 out of this term, and we're going to be left with 2. So it's going to be x plus 2 multiplied by x plus 3. As you can see, we are left with the answer. And that is how we carry out basic quadratic how should I say, factorization. A lot of persons don't realize that without factorization they can't do many other topics, such as various topics in calculus, various topics in pre-calculus, and so on and so forth. So that will be it for today's video. Thanks for making it cruise class. Oh, please don't forget, subscribe, like the video, all those things.